You know what freaks people out more than anything? It's not what you say. It's what you don't say. Silence. The one thing most people run from, but secretly fear the most. Because silence isn't empty. It's pressure. And when you know how to use it correctly, people don't just respect you. They feel off balance while you stay calm, steady, and completely in control. A few years ago, I was negotiating a freelance contract. The client offered me a rate way below what I knew I was worth. Instead of defending myself, instead of explaining, I did nothing. I sat there. I didn't smile. I didn't nod. I just stayed silent. 5 seconds passed, then 10. You could see the discomfort on their face. And then they broke. Actually, let me see what I can do about that number.
Here's why silence makes people uncomfortable. Humans are social creatures. Our brains are wired to connect, to avoid rejection, and to expect responses. When someone suddenly stops talking, the brain panics. Are they judging me? Did I say something wrong? Are they angry? This creates cognitive dissonance, mental discomfort when expectations are broken. To relieve that discomfort, the brain tries to fix the situation by talking more, explaining more, revealing more. When you stay silent, you don't feel that pressure. You observe. They unravel. And that's where the power shifts.
The first silence habit is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's called the post-statement pause. When someone finishes talking, don't respond immediately. Pause. 3 to 5 seconds. That small gap creates uncertainty. They start wondering if what they said made sense. And because people hate uncertainty, they keep talking. They explain more. They reveal more. When you respond instantly, you close the loop. But when you pause, their mind fills the silence with doubt. And that's when the truth slips out. The second silence habit is the disagreement silence. When someone says something you disagree with, your instinct is to correct them, to argue, to explain why they're wrong. But that almost never works. It makes people defensive. Instead, say nothing. Let their words sit in the air. Don't nod, don't react. Just stay silent. When people don't get the resistance they expect, they hear themselves more clearly. And sometimes they start dismantling their own argument without you saying a word.
The third silence habit is the deadline silence. When someone gives you a deadline, they're trying to rush you. I need an answer today. That pressure is intentional. But here's the truth. Most deadlines aren't real. So don't react. Don't explain. Don't rush to decide. Just stay silent. When the deadline passes, something interesting happens. They start worrying they might lose you. And fear of loss makes people flexible.
The fourth silence habit is emotional silence. When someone is upset, angry, or overwhelmed, our instinct is to fix it, to offer advice, to explain, to solve the problem. But that usually makes things worse. When people are emotional, they don't need solutions, they need space. When you stay silent and let them speak, something powerful happens. They feel heard. They feel respected. And that calm brings them back to themselves.
The fifth silence habit is question silence. When someone asks you a question, especially a difficult one, most people feel pressure to answer immediately. But you don't have to. You can pause. You can think. That silence shows control. It shows you're not reacting. you're choosing your response. And sometimes, when a question crosses a boundary, silence is the answer. You don't explain, you don't defend. You let the discomfort belong to them.
The sixth silence habit is victory silence. When you make a strong point, when someone agrees with you, when you win an argument, stop talking. Don't celebrate, don't over-explain, don't rub it in. Let the silence do the work. When you stay quiet after winning, you give the other person room to save face. And when people don't feel attacked, they're more likely to accept the truth.
The seventh habit is self-assured silence. This is the highest level. You don't rush to fill gaps. You don't feel pressure to entertain. You don't panic when conversation slows. You're comfortable being quiet. And that comfort is magnetic. Most people are uneasy with silence, so when they meet someone who isn't, they feel it immediately. This kind of silence doesn't come from strategy. It comes from knowing yourself and being okay with it.
Here's what most people don't understand. Silence is only uncomfortable if you're uncomfortable with yourself. When you don't know who you are, silence feels like exposure. But when you understand yourself, silence becomes calm, powerful. These silence habits aren't about manipulation. They're about self-control, about not letting other people's discomfort control your behavior. When you master silence, you stop reacting, you start choosing. And that's what real power looks like.
Now here's what I want you to do. Pick one silence habit and practice it this week. Just one. Notice how people react when you stop filling the space. Notice who gets uncomfortable. Notice who starts talking more. And notice how calm you feel when you don't react. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. And once you understand that, you'll never feel the need to speak just to be heard. Subscribe for more psychology that actually changes how you move through the world.